What if I told you that the 9-to-5 job, the very thing you've been taught to chase your whole life, is actually the biggest scam in modern history? Not just outdated, not just inefficient, but straight up designed to keep you broke, tired, and stuck in a cycle that only benefits one group of people: your bosses. Let's start with the truth they never want you to realize. Jobs were never meant to make you rich. They were built to keep you just comfortable enough so you wouldn't quit, but never free enough to actually leave. That's not a career. That's a financial hamster wheel with HR paperwork, and the worst part? They made you believe this is what success looks like. Wake up early, sit in traffic, clock in, answer emails, obey orders, eat lunch at your desk, ask permission to use the bathroom, then spend all evening too exhausted to work on your own dreams. Repeat that for 40 years. And maybe, just maybe, they'll throw you a retirement party with cake and a pen. Congrats. You just traded your entire life for a paycheck that barely keeps up with inflation. This isn't living, it's economic survival mode. And who invented this system? Industrialists. Back in the 1800s, factory owners needed workers who were obedient, punctual, and dependent. So they helped shape an education system that trained kids to sit in rows, follow instructions, raise their hand to speak. Sound familiar? Yep. School was never about learning critical thinking or building wealth. It was a pipeline to create the perfect employee: quiet, compliant, and replaceable. Now let's talk about time, the one resource you can never get back. In a 9-to-5, you literally sell the best hours of your day, your energy, creativity, focus, to someone else. For what? A fixed salary. Whether you work extra hard or just coast through the day, you get the same paycheck. Meanwhile, your boss gets richer from the value you created. They call it a job. I call it modern-day time theft. And don't even get me started on taxes. When you're an employee, your taxes are taken before you even see your money. You work 40 hours, but Uncle Sam takes his cut first, and then you can't do a thing about it. But business owners, investors, they get paid first, then use loopholes to reduce their taxes. The system is literally designed to reward ownership, not labor. And they never taught you that in school, because they didn't want you to know. Still think job security is real? Let's be honest, secure job is a myth. One recession, one round of layoffs, one AI software update, and boom, your entire income disappears overnight. Meanwhile, the CEO gets a bonus. The shareholders clap, and you're left figuring out how to pay rent. Job security isn't security, Aline. It's a psychological trap that makes you fear leaving the cage. And guess what? That 3% raise you got last year? Yeah, inflation just hit 6%. You didn't get a raise, you got a pay cut in disguise. You're working harder, longer, and producing more for less. They dress it up with titles like Assistant Regional Executive Coordinator of Synergy Management. But all you've got is more stress and a slightly fancier email signature. Oh, we're just getting warmed up. In the next chunk, we'll dive into how this system was engineered to rob you of freedom, why trading time for money is the worst deal in history, and how the rich figured this out decades ago, but hoped you'd never find out. All right, buckle up, because once you understand how the system was engineered to trap you, you'll never look at your job the same way again. This isn't just bad luck or poor timing. The 9-to-5 grind was built brick by brick to benefit the top and lock you at the bottom. Let's talk about this toxic formula you've been fed since birth. Go to school, get good grades, get a good job. Sounds innocent, right? But let's break it down. You spend the first 22 years of your life memorizing facts you'll never use, taking out tens of thousands in student loans just to earn a degree that, surprise, no one even checks anymore. Meanwhile, college tuition has gone up by over 200% since the 1980s, while wages? Flat. Dead flat. You're drowning in debt before your career even begins. Then you land that good job. But what they don't tell you is that you're now locked into a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. According to CNBC, over 60% of Americans can't cover a $500 emergency. That's not financial freedom. That's financial prison dressed up in khakis and casual Fridays. And here's the mind bender. Trading time for money is the worst deal ever created. Time is your most valuable asset, and in a job, you're renting it out for a fixed price. Work more hours, burn out. Take time off, get penalized. Meanwhile, the wealthy figured this out decades ago. They don't trade time, they trade value, they own systems. Real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property. Things that work for them 24/7 while they sleep, eat, or vacation in Bali. You get 2 weeks of paid time off. if your manager approves it. Let that sink in. You have to ask permission to spend time with your family. You're not free. You're on leash, tied to a calendar controlled by someone else. And they have the audacity to call it work-life balance. Now let's talk retirement, the big lie at the end of the tunnel. You grind for 40 years hoping your 401k will save you. But guess what? Most people never retire rich. According to the Economic Policy Institute, the average retirement savings for people age 60 plus is just $172,000. That's not a golden sunset. That's ramen noodles and clipping coupons. And if you do make it to retirement without burning out or going bankrupt, now you've got health issues, less energy, and less time left to enjoy the life you spent decades working for. That's not freedom. That's delayed regret. You've been tricked into giving away your prime years in exchange for the hope that someday, maybe you'll finally get to live. Meanwhile, the top 1%? They retire in their 30s, outsource their time, and build wealth on autopilot. Why? Because they understood the truth. Jobs are temporary. Ownership is power. And don't let them distract you with company culture, free pizza Fridays, or beanbag chairs in the break room. That's corporate hypnosis. A little dopamine hit to keep you from realizing the truth. You're building someone else's dream while yours collects dust. We're going even deeper in the next chunk. Get ready to learn how side hustles, passive income, and financial literacy are exploding right now, and why millions are escaping the rat race while others are still punching a clock. You don't want to miss this because the exit is real and the door is finally wide open. Okay, now we're entering the part they really don't want you to hear because this is where people start to escape. This is the moment when millions of ordinary folks are ditching the 9-to-5 trap and building lives that make traditional jobs look like horse and buggy technology. And it's all happening because of one thing: information. Once people learn how money actually works, the game changes. So let's talk about the new economy, where you don't need to clock in to earn. Right now, passive income streams, remote work, freelancing, content creation, investing, dropshipping, affiliate marketing, these aren't scams or buzzwords anymore. They're legitimate exits from the system. And here's the part that shocks most people. A lot of these models require less time, less stress, and earn way more than a full-time job. Take digital products, for example. You make an online course once and it sells again and again while you sleep. Or affiliate marketing. You promote a product, someone clicks, you get paid. Do the work once, get paid forever. That's the opposite of what you're used to, right? Because in a job, you do the work once, and then you do it again tomorrow and the next day forever. Why aren't schools teaching this? Why didn't your guidance counselor ever talk about monetizing your skills, building a personal brand, or investing in cash-flowing assets? Because that's not their job. Their job was to turn you into a reliable worker, not a wealthy thinker. And here's the ultimate irony. The internet, the very thing that was supposed to destroy jobs, has actually created the biggest wave of individual opportunity in history. There are kids making 6 figures reviewing gadgets on YouTube, people earning more from ebooks than they did as lawyers, couples retiring in their 30s thanks to smart real estate investments and FIRE, financial independence, retire early, strategies. But here's the kicker. Most people still won't leave the 9-to-5. Why? Fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of instability, fear of judgment. Society has brainwashed us into thinking that anything outside of a stable job is risky. But guess what? Being entirely dependent on one paycheck, one boss, one company, that's not security. That's Russian roulette with your financial future. Meanwhile, people are waking up. The Great Resignation? That wasn't a fluke. That was a breakup. Millions realized they were giving away their lives for cubicles and empty promotions. They wanted flexibility, freedom, fulfillment. And for once, the internet gave them options. Look, we're not saying everyone needs to quit their job today and start a YouTube channel. But you have to start thinking like an owner. Start building skills that pay you. Learn about money, about assets, about how to scale your time. Because if you don't, you'll spend the next 30 years making someone else rich, while barely keeping your head above water. And the crazy part? The information is out there, free, public, everywhere. Books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The 4-Hour Workweek, Think and Grow Rich, and blogs, podcasts, Reddit threads, it's all one Google. No excuses, no gatekeepers, just a decision. Stay in the system, Briggy, or build your own. Now get ready. Because in the final chunk, we're gonna wrap this all up with a brutal truth, some mind-blowing numbers, and the exact mindset shift you need to break free. Forever. You've come this far, don't stop now.